Welcome to today's Explainer. If you're renovating or building right now in Kathmandu, you already know the deal. Our unique climate here can be absolutely brutal on interiors. Between the super humid summers and the chilly, damp winters, picking the right materials is absolutely crucial. Today, we're unpacking a modern, highly talked about solution that's engineered to handle exactly these challenges: SPC Flooring. We're going to break down the data, the costs, and the practical benefits to give you a clear, straightforward buyer's guide.
Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to look at what SPC flooring actually is, the specific benefits for Kathmandu living, the different styles available, a breakdown of the costs, how it stacks up against the competition, and finally, the installation process. Let's get right into it.
All right, Section 1. What is SPC flooring? Let's take a look at the anatomy of stone plastic composite.
So SPC actually stands for Stone Plastic Composite. Basically, it's a highly durable, waterproof, and fireproof modern flooring option. The whole point of SPC, its core superpower really, is that it's built to withstand changing climates. And for a city like Kathmandu, where the weather is constantly shifting and warping traditional materials, SPC hits a really sweet spot between looking great, functioning perfectly, and keeping things affordable.
And the reason it's so incredibly tough? It literally wears armor. It's not just one uniform slab of material. It's a stack of 5 distinct layers. Up top, you've got a UV coating. That stops it from fading in the sun. Right under that is the wear layer, which takes the absolute brunt of daily foot traffic. Then you have the decor film, which gives it that ultra-realistic wood or stone look. But the real magic happens in layer 4, the SPC core sheet. This is made of that ultra-dense stone plastic composite. Finally, there's an underlayment at the bottom to keep things quiet and comfortable underfoot. Put it all together, and you have a virtually indestructible surface.
So, seeing how beefy that 5-layer anatomy is, it brings up a very practical question. Why exactly should you choose this specific SPC flooring for Kathmandu? Well, let's see how this builds into our next point. That brings us to Section 2, benefits for Kathmandu living and exactly why it thrives in Nepal's climate.
The first major benefit is a total game changer. It is 100% waterproof. Look, in a city where humidity spikes and dampness just kind of sneaks into everything, traditional wood floors can warp and swell. It can turn into a very expensive nightmare. But because of that stone plastic core we just talked about, SPC won't warp or swell at all. It is incredibly safe for those splash zones. Think kitchens, bathrooms, laundry rooms. Basically, it gives you daily peace of mind, because if an appliance leaks or someone knocks over a drink, your floor is going to be structurally fine. Another huge perk? It's highly scratch and dent resistant. The source material actually calls it armor on your floor, which I think hits the nail on the head. If you have a chaotic household, kids dropping toys, pets skidding around with sharp claws, or if you're just constantly shifting heavy furniture around, this flooring can absolutely take a beating. It keeps its stylish look without showing all that wear and tear you'd normally see on softer woods or basic laminate. And beyond just being tough, it's also designed to be smart and safe. SPC is eco-friendly and extremely low maintenance. It's made without harmful chemicals like formaldehyde, which means cleaner indoor air and a much safer space for your family. Plus, cleaning it? A total breeze. You don't need any expensive polishes, waxes, or intense scrubbing routines. Just a simple sweep and a quick mop, and you're done. It frees up your time for things that actually matter. Okay, so durability is fantastic, but durable definitely doesn't mean boring. Section 3. Styles and ideal spaces. Let's find the right look for your room. You actually have a ton of aesthetic options here. You've got the wood look, which gives you that really cozy, elegant vibe of traditional hardwood, which we know is super popular in Nepali decor, but without all the maintenance headaches. Then there's the stone look, perfect for adding a sophisticated, polished feel to high-traffic zones like kitchens. Want something a bit more bold? Modern Pattern offers trendy designs suited for contemporary Kathmandu apartments. And functionally, you have the basic tier for budget-friendly rental properties, all the way up to premium, which delivers luxury finishes, realistic textures, and extra sound insulation for high-end homes. Because there are so many styles, SPC bridges the gap between residential and commercial spaces effortlessly. At home, the wood and premium styles can easily transform your living rooms, bedrooms, and kitchens into really cozy havens. But it's equally at home in commercial applications. For heavy foot traffic areas like offices, retail stores, showrooms, or busy restaurants, the thicker stone look and premium varieties are going to withstand that daily grind while still looking highly professional.
All right, let's get down to the bottom line. Section 4, pricing and cost breakdown. What does this actually cost?
Let's just put the numbers right on the table to anchor our expectations. According to the source materials, the baseline pricing in Kathmandu ranges from 230 to over 400 Nepalese rupees per square foot. That gives you a really clear, concrete financial window to work with if you're trying to map out a renovation budget.
So, what drives that price difference? It mostly comes down to thickness and the core material. The standard tier sits at about 250 rupees. That gets you a 5mm thickness with a recycled SPC core, highly practical for low-traffic spots or rentals. If you step up to premium at 300 rupees, you're still at 5mm, but you upgrade to a denser virgin SPC core with an enhanced wear layer. And finally, the luxury tier at 400+ rupees bumps the thickness up to 7mm with a high-grade virgin core. That's going to give you maximum durability, incredibly realistic finishes, and optimal sound insulation.
And here is a very practical piece of advice directly from the source material. They emphasize, before taking the service, you must compare the price, brand, and other factors to ensure that you get the best value. Honestly, that's just smart shopping. It's highly recommended to look around, consult with a few different local vendors in Kathmandu, and make absolutely sure you match the specific tier of SPC to what your room actually needs.
So how does it stack up against the alternatives? Section 5. How SPC compares against laminate and vinyl.
When you put them head-to-head, SPC's advantages are pretty undeniable. Take water resistance. SPC is 100% waterproof. Laminate, not fully protected. Vinyl, only water-resistant. For overall durability, SPC is rated high, while both laminate and vinyl sit at moderate. But the biggest difference, especially for your timeline and your wallet, is the installation method. SPC uses a really simple click system. Laminate often requires specific professional expertise, and traditional vinyl relies on messy, time-consuming glue down. Let's talk a bit more about that click and lock system, because it really is brilliant. No glue, no nails, literally no mess. The planks just snap together, kind of like a giant puzzle. This is a massive win because it dramatically cuts down the labor time and installation costs. In a lot of scenarios, you can even install these planks directly over your existing old floors. You could realistically have a completely upgraded room in a single day.
Which brings us to our final step in the buyer's journey, Section 6, the installation process, from proposal to final inspection.
A standard professional vendor project usually moves through 4 distinct steps. First is the consultation, where the team understands your needs and measures the space. Next comes the proposal, which outlines the detailed plan and gives you the pricing. Then the actual installation happens, using that super efficient click and lock technique we just talked about. And finally, a thorough inspection ensures every single detail is perfect, locked in securely, and ready for everyday use.
To wrap up the core value of this material, our source leaves us with a great takeaway. Don't settle for less. Choose smart, stylish, and strong. Looking at all this data, it's pretty clear that SPC is positioned as a serious long-term value investment, specifically tailored to handle the environmental realities of properties right here in Nepal.
Which leaves us with one final provocative question for you today. Is it time to upgrade your space with a floor that truly works for your lifestyle? If you're battling humidity, heavy foot traffic, or you just really want a modern aesthetic without the endless maintenance of traditional hardwood, SPC Flooring makes a truly compelling case. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep those spaces beautiful, and I'll catch you on the next one.